We're here with Amanda Purnell. Thanks for joining me, Amanda.
Of course.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, obviously I met you back when I started working the front desk at Coldwell Banker Schweitzer in Northville.
That's crazy because Kathy Schweitzer is now in our organization.
Yes.
She was the owner of the company, and I was an agent there.
Yep. And I was a receptionist working the front desk answering phones.
That was probably what, 2005, 2006?
Yeah, somewhere about there.
Range? Got it. So you started, that was your first entry into real estate?
Yes.
No way. And that, by the way, that for anyone that knows the name Coldwell Banker Schweitzer, that was a powerhouse of an office. I mean, they were number one in our entire MLS.
Yep.
So you dealt with a lot of high egos, a lot of stress, a lot of egos from clients, because it also happens to be in a more affluent area.
Yes.
So you got thrown right to the wolves right from day one.
Yeah.
All right. And that was your first start into operations. And where'd you go from there?
From there, I was approached by an agent and asked to be his administrative assistant.
Which that happens often in real estate offices.
Yep.
So, and this was a top agent in the office?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And basically, obviously, this agent saw something in you and said, "Hey, you're doing a great job at the front desk. Why don't you come be my assistant?"
Yes.
And was that what your role was, executive assistant?
Yes.
And how long did you do that?
I was on that team for about 5.5 years.
5.5 years. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And what were your roles during that time?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of everything. So I started just as his administrative assistant. And there was one buyer agent on the team at the time.
Yep. So it was small when you started.
Yep. From there, as that was in the thick of short sales. So I learned and mastered short sales, and business started growing, obviously.
Yep.
From there, and we hired a listing coordinator, and I hired and trained a listing coordinator.
Got it.
And then kept growing. So then we hired and trained a closing coordinator.
Yep.
And as we kept doing that, my leadership skills kept growing and my role kept morphing, and I became the director of operations for his team.
Nice. So you now had a small team of operations team members that reported to you.
Yes.
And at the peak, I'm guessing it was probably year 4 or year 5. How many transactions was that team doing?
Back then, I think we were getting close to about 200 units.
200 units. Okay, good. And you had a listing coordinator, transaction manager, probably. Anybody else that you were managing?
We had an ISA team. We were starting to grow one at that time too.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And so from there, you made the decision to go in a different direction.
Yes.
And first of all, how did you arrive at that decision?
I was looking for something a little bit different that was going to match my core values more than what I was getting on the team that I was on.
Got it. Okay. And that's a common thing that we hear from people.
Yeah.
And then, so you went to another real estate team?
Yes.
And what did that team look like at the time?
That team was a little bit more boutique. They were still top sales in their area. So they did a lot of units, but a much smaller size team.
Got it. Okay.
So my role there, I was still director of operations, but the role looked different.
Yeah.
So part of that role, I was also training and mentoring our agents as we were bringing on new agents on the team.
Okay.
And most of the agents we brought on were brand new.
So you were operations side, but really you were getting into the sales side.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yep.
And what was that experience like?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, watching the agents take something that I've taught them to do and actually place that into action and then see success from it is where I actually realized that I loved coaching.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
And that's how that kind of all snowballed from there.
And you became the team manager then?
Yes.
And when you were the team manager, what was your role?
I was still the director of operations, but I am also licensed as an agent as well. So I've always done my own sales on the side. But as I took that role on, I also then got more heavily into sales.
Got it. Okay. So you would say that you understand both sides of the real estate game pretty well, both sales and operations.
Yes.
And so how many years at the second team then?
7.
7 years. Okay. So 5 and then 7.
Yes.
Yep. And then you made the decision to join us. And so tell us about that transition.
Yeah. So as I was growing more as a mentor for the agents that were on the team, I also took a position coaching for operations.
Okay.
So I was coaching other operations and director of operations of real estate companies from around the U.S. And as that kind of kept developing, I was wanting to grow my leadership skills and take on more of that coaching role. And I wanted more out of what I was doing. I was thriving and, really enjoying that. So
you were, team manager.
Yep.
And a coach, operations coach. for a company that just focuses on operations. I would
Yes.
imagine. Yep.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So not only did you have your on the ground experience because you were in the field, but you also had the opportunity to coach other people and learn about their teams.
Yes.
And I'm sure you got a lot of value from that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then, so what was it that caused you to say, all right, because let me step back for a second. When I said join us, you joined the Glover Agency.
Yes.
So you're not just a coach for Glover U, you're the director of operations at the Glover Agency.
Correct.
Which is a pretty big responsibility.
Yes.
Because you went from a team of a handful of agents.
Yep.
Now, of course, you had a lot more roles, helping agents with their deals and so forth,
Yeah.
to a team of essentially 40 or 50 agents, plus staff, plus brick and mortar, plus everything. So what was that transition like?
You know, like I said, I was really looking for something to grow my leadership skills. And so that's why I sought you out. Coming over to Glover Agency and being the director of operations has been amazing. I love it. You know, when the agents come and ask questions, I thrive on that, you know, and they put it into action and they see success from it and they come back and they're so excited. I did what you said I should do and I got a listing. So, you know, that's where I thrive. I love it.
So you manage an operations team that handles essentially 1,000 transactions a year. And you're a coach for Glover U. If I'm watching this and I'm considering coaching with you, why should I coach with Amanda Purnell?
Yeah, I think I provide a unique perspective with all of my experience in both operations, systems, and sales. That I can look at the bigger picture of things and provide a much more unique perspective on things.
Yeah, so because you've had so many different roles, I mean, you know basically every role in the real estate industry inside and out. And I think the advantage that you have as a coach is you're not just an operations coach. You understand the sales side of it. I mean, to be a coach who's the director of operations at a real estate team selling 1,000 transactions a year qualifies you to coach agents even on sales production because of the level of talent that you've been surrounded by. So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Amanda. We're glad you're on the team, and anyone who gets the opportunity to coach with her should take her up on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.